Right, let's get on to our final game, which was Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1, with Will Dennis scoring the only goal of the game. The Kilmarnock keeper diverting a Lawrence Shankland cross into his own net in 18 minutes. Hearts have won 4 games in a row, continue to be really quite shite to watch, but one thing I'll say for Stephen Naismith, so the style of football is not there, and certainly not what we saw at the end of last season or what was promised. He does say himself that the style's not there yet, but that's the thing that will come in time. When? But he certainly sorted out the defence, because this was a defence at the end of last season was leaking goals for fun. And even at the beginning of this campaign didn't look particularly strong, but that's, in the last 4 games, that's only 1 goal conceded, and that was a penalty. And in the second half for this one, I think Craig Anderson said, he said in the group chat that Hearts deserve to draw and Killie deserve to lose. I don't know, because when you have the lead,
you play a different way.
Yeah, when you have the lead and the onus is on your opponent to try and win the game. Hearts didn't have an awful lot of the territory in the second half, but they looked very comfortable. There was a period. There was a couple of wee periods where Killie had pressure for about 5 minutes. I was thinking, okay, here we go, here's the onslaught. But both of them faded away. And all in all, it was a comfortable 1-0 win. Having gone 1-0 up, there was a couple of chances in the first half after it went 1-0 where Killie scored. Second half, I don't remember them creating a chance.
I'm pretty worried about Kilmarnock now, because I think their results and their stats, even in the last few games, is they just hardly have any shots on target. Not good.
No.
Very simple sort of.
And when Killie are losing games at home as well, that's a worry because they never win away.
Yeah. So, I'd start to get a bit worried about Kilmarnock because they're lacking the goals again. They've got 3 goals against Killie and 2 goals against Aberdeen in a row when things were starting to look better again. But then they got 1 against the Johnstone defeat. They got 1 in their win against Motherwell. Nothing against Hibs. Nothing against Kilmarnock. Nothing against Hearts. That's a problem. And they had Vassell back for this one, so they had Vassell and Watkins back up front, which I'm assuming long term will do a lot more for them. But again, I know the issue. Kyle McGuinness is your connecting player between the midfield and the strike force. You can't, once you've got that, if you build a team that relies on that, which I don't know. Craig Anderson would be miles better to talk about this than I would, but I've not seen them in the last.
But at the same time, looking at that midfield 3, David Watson, Brad Lyons, and Liam Donnelly, right?
Donnelly's pants.
Put Donnelly to the side for a second. Even the other 2, David Watson and Brad Lyons, both had very good seasons. David Watson looks a very good young player.
Definitely.
His main attribute, though, still is running hard.
And tackling.
Yeah. Brad Lyons, working hard in the midfield.
He scored from it.
Liam Donnelly, even scored from it this season. Liam Donnelly, kind of defensive midfielder, apparently. But
that's if you call Dylan Levitt a defensive midfielder.
So what is the and Daba's decent for giving them the shape of the team, the structure is a proper 3. Without him, they kind of struggle. They don't really have somebody else to do that. He's also kind of very quick going down the wing. He's somebody that getting forward, but he's not that creative type like a Kennedy is. So there's just a real lack of creative players in there. And even still,
why not play Kennedy then?
I know they bring Kennedy off the bench for Watson, but Liam Donnelly plays 90 minutes.
I don't know.
They've got Polworth on the bench. Bring him on.
You've got the makeup of I know, but you could use Nabada at left back, couldn't you? As a normal left back.
Yeah.
And then you could use Finlay, Dees, and you could play Mayo as the right back, which, don't get me wrong, which would mean they could still use, they still have 3 big guys back there, and obviously Mayo would tuck in a bit, and then that would allow you to play Armstrong and Kennedy and Vassell as a front 3. And I think it has to get to the stage where it's maybe, I know they don't concede loads of goals, Kilmarnock, but they need to start putting the ball in the net. Would it be that dangerous to do that? You still have Finlay, Dees, and Mayo in the team. You still have Mbada in the team. You just have one. You just don't have Donnelly. and then if you change to a back 4, essentially, that's what will do it. I would allow them to play Kennedy and Armstrong, which is, to me, seems so sensible when McInnes got him in. I was like, right, he's cracked it there. They'll be absolutely fine as long as there's no major injuries. Armstrong, Kennedy, and Vassell under Derek McInnes. That's his front 3. This is his bread and fucking butter. 2 good wingers who are. I know they're not flying, but Armstrong has a good delivery. Kennedy's quick. He's tricky. He's also got a good cross. Vassell have his dinner off that, and they've got Watkins who can come on, who can do some of the running later on in the game. You know, really simple stuff. And then you've got Lyons and Watson in there. I just don't understand why he's insisting on playing the back three. It only makes all it does is make them solid. It totally negates them as an attacking force.
No, certainly at this point in time, they don't really know much more else to say about Hearts.
It was the most guaranteed shit game of the weekend.
Yeah, it certainly was.
And Kilmarnock in that weather as well, freezing cold, with the way Hearts have been playing recently, which is, I mean, Hearts haven't been playing great football. They've been getting the result, just like what you talk about. And they absolutely deserve credit for that. But again, even Shanklin and Boyce up front, nobody's going to be going in behind. It's all going to be played in a mishmash between 2-3 at the back teams with no pace.
Yeah, what I would say is the front two, so I didn't like it. And if the two to drop out, I wouldn't have dropped out Lowry. I would have dropped out Boyce instead and played somebody else up front with pace. What I will say is one of the stronger periods Kelly had in the game was after Boyce went off in the first half, when Oda went up front and Civic went to right wing. Civic came on at right wing back and Oda went up front. And Oda wasn't in the game at all at that point, so the ball didn't stick as much. So Boyce can obviously do that. Like Boyce and Shanklin, you can't get anybody going in behind. So and there's no pace in the team. So it's crap. But at least both of them can make, when you get the ball forward to them, they can keep it away from the opposition team.
Absolutely.
Opposition team, and set your stall out.
Both very good with the back to go.
Yeah, and set your stall high up the park. So that really struggled when Oda went up top, and Kelly ended the first half strong as a result of that. However, Oda started off the second half pretty well, and then Tagawa came on and was similarly quite sharp. So they had it a bit more in the second half, and he also had a different dimension. It's just whether, and this is the problem Hearts have faced all season, it's whether either of those guys or Kenneth Vargas could be counted on every week to do that job. Because otherwise you do have to play Boyce if you're playing with two up top, because the ball keeps coming back, and you kind of almost do have to play with two up top, because Shanklin struggles sometimes when he's one up front by himself, because he can't do everything.
Would there not be something to be said for, because of Boyce and Shanklin being so good at dropping deep, so much good at protecting the ball, so good that we'd allow Hearts to play quite a dominating way? That is what I think. Would it not work maybe doing a 3-4-3 and then allowing the central striker to be an Oda or a Vargas, who's purely just to stretch the teams so they can't play too high? And it means that they can't fucking suffocate the game in there. Yes, you only play with two midfielders, but Boyce is going to drop into there so much.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I suppose it's a split and wide thing that's the issue, because they're going to have to do a lot of running.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've got Cochrane, now that he's back, he can do a lot out of that wide area. And then you've just shown that you can play Oda out there, and then you could maybe use like Vargas as the striker or whatever. I mean, you're only using him for a tactical reason. Yeah, and the time's going to come where you're going to be able to sign. I'm assuming all the eggs are going in the quick forward basket. Like, so. Surely, Christ, at Hearts.
Well, I think I'll give Tagawa a run between now. I think he'll get at least a couple of starts between now and January.
And Vargas. There's three guys who you could mould and do it, and you never know, you might find something. I know this is silly because we're talking about a team who's won 4 in the trot, but I mean, it's just the issues that stop Hearts from being able to win by more than like a goal, really, and sort of get away with the team. The problem is going to be for Hibs. It's never wholly convincing. You don't think this is going to go to 7-8. You're thinking, when's it going to get beat? Yeah, so you know what I mean. But the difference with the Hibs one is that you can see the formulation of a plan and you can see where that's going. Whereas the Hearts one, they've just got better players, and it's just stodgy. So I don't know. It's clearly what Hearts are going to do in the future. So why not just get one of these other guys and see if you can coach them into it right now? And then you've had extra players who could do the role, because what if another guy gets injured in the future? Because it's obviously what you're going to want to do.
Before I finish, there's one more thing I wanted to point out, which was on the defence again. I think Naismith had a wee tweak. Naismith does have these wee tweaks in him that I think are sometimes quite good. Naismith might actually be alright.
Oh, he fucking said it now. Rob Borthwick smashing his water.
That's me fucked it now though, because we've won 4 in a row. We've got Rangers up next. We've got a terrible run of fixtures. So I've now just said Naismith might be alright, and you know what's going to happen. We're going to lose the next 4 games.
I mean, that works for me.
Yeah.
One of them Sibs.
So yeah, maybe I take that back. He's still shite. Keep winning. No, but the wee tweak he made was don't really, and I assume this was him telling the defence of this, don't, like, they were doing a lot of what Kelly used to do to Uche, which was don't engage on the first ball. Like, let him bring it down and then see what he could do for there. Because if you're trying to fight him, he's going to batter you.
And he'll get a turn on you.
And he'll get a turn,
running
yes.
Running at the defence with a man less.
And they kept Vassell surprisingly quiet throughout this one.
And then Kent's no bad in the air, is he? So he was
Kent's great. Kent's one of the signings of the season.
There we go. See, you can be positive for him.
There is bits. Do you know the thing with Naismith is that it almost feels like it's almost too late. He's going to have to really start. He's going to have to do something special to get fans on side.
He needs to win at Easter Road, doesn't he?
Yes, if he wins Easter Road, then actually everything's fine, and people will just go, do you know what, we were wrong.
Sure.
But like I've said a few times, the club just put him off on the worst path ever with this whole fucking ridiculous setup.
Yeah. That's it.
And it's just meant that so many fans are just in the position where you kind of want to be proven right. Like, it's just like, I told you I was right, he's shite. So any defeat, every defeat, like I even spoke to somebody I knew at the pub, bumped into him just randomly on Saturday in Glasgow. He'd come back for the game, and he was still like, 4 wins a trot, I still want him sacked. There's loads of fans like that.
But there's still that scene. You did have to do that because Grant, he should be busting a gut to get in behind Shanklin and Boyce, going behind them when they're dropping off. And I don't know if that's happening, but that would be the makeup of the team. To me, I'm just trying, again, when I've been talking about this quite a lot going through this, because I think there's a lot of teams in the league who you've still not really got to December, and we've still not formatted how they play, what their identity is, what makes sense. And there's loads of teams, loads. And I include, as I said, Rangers and Celtic, we're talking about them in the same idea.
Yeah,
but we're just like, I just don't see like what's the coaching bit.
It gives us things to talk about because it's something that changes every week, pretty much. But it makes the football terrible to watch for the most part.
Because no one's ready yet. Still nobody's ready.
It's everybody's like just out of pre-season.
Yeah. But tired. So this is what's making it turgid. And this is like,
and the pitches are now shit.
Yeah, and this is why I'm not being criticising Montgomery so much, even though 1 defeat in 12 on the face of it sounds all right as well. But in terms of the makeup, because I've been like, personally in my head thinking about, I don't talk about this with Hibs fans because I'll just get told to shut up, this kind of stuff, but thinking about everyone, like, at least we're actually trying to manoeuvre into something that makes sense and that he wants, and the team seems to be doing it, and his message get across. Some of it's still frustrating, some of it's still not working, but at least I know that there's a plan trying to be implemented. I'm watching everyone else like, Dundee again, I'm waxing lyrical about fucking Dundee in a 3-3 draw when they go down to 10, when they're playing against 10 men, because I can see the formula of what they want and it all makes sense to me. Whereas really no other team that it's like that. It's all that they're just chucking darts at the board, or they're too scared to do it, and none of it really makes like sense to me about what they try to become, who they try to be. So that could be, and that's what makes it shit.
Yeah.
Really.